Gwe, Jalasi, hello and welcome. Thank you all for being here today with us to commemorate this special occasion. Dilwasi Julie Pelletier Lush. My name is Julie Pelletier Lush, a proud Mi'kmaq woman of Abequit and a member of Lennox Island First Nation. I would like to welcome the Honourable Dennis King, Premier of Prince Edward Island, Chief Darlene Bernard of Lennox Island. Now I'm going to have to restart this. So I would like to welcome the Honourable Dennis King, Premier of Prince Edward Island, Chief Darlene Bernard of Lennox Island First Nation, Chief Junior Gould of Abequit First Nation, and Captain and Elder James Bernard. Together we acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is unceded Mi'kmaq territory. Abequit, Prince Edward Island, is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. I am humbled to be your master of ceremonies today once again. For all islanders, today is significant as we are celebrating our 5th year of Treaty Day being officially recognized on Abequit. Our day will begin with a prayer from Captain James Bernard to start us off in a good way. Chief Bernard will then follow with her remarks, as well as Chief Gould, and ending words from Premier Dennis King. There will be a ceremonial gift exchange following the remarks from our leadership, as was done by our ancestors during the signing of the Peace and Friendship Treaties in centuries past. After this exchange, the chiefs and the Premier will raise the Mi'kmaq Grand Council flag together to honor Treaty Day. The Red Stone Drummers from Abequit First Nation will be performing at this time and will continue drumming after the flag has been raised. And we will all be able to continue to enjoy their beautiful song together. Following this, we will close the ceremony with a few remarks, and our representatives will be available to the media at this time. Now I would like to start by inviting Captain James Bernard to offer an opening prayer to start us off in just the right way.
Gwe, Dean Dallowson, Gipton, Sawgage, Bonal, Widjak, Det, right here in Mi'kmaq. Hi, my name is Gipton Jim Bernard from Lennox Island, and I'm here to say the opening prayer for this beautiful gathering here today. Nunjan Waso Eben, Jeptic Dalawasan, Megadedaman Waso Delta Nen, Jeptic Ignamuinen, Willa Numalek, Willadis, Nadil Waso A Kick, Dully Skadaski, Jeptic El Nanin, Dully Sajlek, Mugmagik, Imek, Dalamud Nigel Isamiego, Hopshanagis Gisku, Dalamud Gutch, Beganamuin, Nanuno, Dalyabitsik Dakakjet, Wagai Willamit the Benig, Ilpgale Niskam, Dalyabitsik Duin, Elaway Wiltiek, Winjigal, Goe, Jigaladwin, Na, Dilyach. Thank you.
Well, Alan, thank you, Captain Bernard, for helping us become grounded and beginning our Treaty Day ceremony in a positive and compelling way. I will now call on Chief Darlene Bernard of Lennox Island First Nation to offer some words on behalf of the Mi'kmaq. Chief Bernard.
Walalan, thank you, Julie. Gwe, Akweliaksikbu, hello, and good morning, everyone. Elders, Gipton Jimmy, Honorable Premier, Chief Gould, distinguished guests, friends, and acquaintances. Today marks the 5th annual Treaty Day on Abaguet, Prince Edward Island, and I want to thank you all for joining us here this morning. The National Day of Truth and Reconciliation yesterday was a time for solemn reflection on the enduring legacy of residential schools. And I want to acknowledge Premier King for officially recognizing September 30th as a provincial statutory holiday for all Abaguetnawa, all islanders. Treaty Day provides us with an opportunity to acknowledge our shared history, recognize our shared progress, and renew our commitments while looking to the future. It is an honor to stand before you as a Mi'kmaq chief and speak about the significance of this day. Beginning in 1725, a series of peace and friendship treaties were signed between the British Crown and the Mi'kmaq. They were referred to as the Peace and Friendship Treaties, as that was the true cornerstone of these agreements. You may be wondering why we observe Treaty Day on October 1st. We do so as this is the date of the signing of the 1752 treaty and the date set to renew the promises in this historical agreement. And so, these treaties, as well as those signed in 1749 and 1760-61, formed the covenant chain of treaties between the British and the Mi'kmaq to ensure a peaceful coexistence of two self-governing bodies, the Mi'kmaq Nation and the British Crown. These treaties were mutually entered into, and since that time, the Mi'kmaq have kept our promises and upheld our side. In Abaguet and in other parts of Mi'kma'ki, known as Atlantic Canada, our parents and elders used oral stories to pass down their knowledge of the treaties. This was, and still is, a way to ensure the peace and friendship treaties and their importance in the protection of Mi'kmaq rights is never forgotten in Mi'kma'ki. There is more than symbolism to this gathering today. It represents a resumption of one of the oldest partnerships between the Mi'kmaq and non-Indigenous peoples here in Mi'kma'ki. The treaty relationship we initially shared dwindled quickly and was lost for many years, and we have experienced great loss and hardship because of it. However, 5 years ago on this day, Premier King and his government proclaimed this day Treaty Day once again in the spirit of reconciliation. Since then, we continue to gather on this day to renew our commitments to each other, and we have made strides in strengthening our relationship. Renewing our commitments with the Crown is not just a symbolic gesture. It is a call to action. We must work together to address the pressing issues facing our communities. We must tackle the challenges of housing, education, healthcare, and economic development. We must ensure that our culture, heritage is preserved and celebrated for generations to come. We have made great progress in some of these areas with the signing of a treaty education MOU last fall, which would have occurred on Treaty Day if not for Hurricane Fiona. This MOU was a great step forward and set us on the path to work together on treaty education curriculum in schools, as well as the development of treaty education programs and projects for civil servants and all islanders in the near future. It is key that we all have knowledge of these treaties and what they mean to us collectively. We are all treaty people, And with this comes rights and responsibilities, not just for the Mi'kmaq, but for all islanders, all Aboriginal. I encourage people to take time to learn about Aboriginal and treaty rights and what they mean for us all as we move forward together. Another success that I would like to highlight is the recent signing of the Hillsborough Park Project agreement this past summer. The agreement marks an exciting new opportunity for First Nations to explore urban housing development, something that has long been a priority and a challenge for our communities. The Mi'kmaq regaining access to lands and resources is a key part of reconciliation, and this agreement was a welcome step in that process. I know we are eager to see this project come to life and the benefits it will provide to our urban community members here on Abequet. Almost. Oh. And we can see other encouraging initiatives as well. Our partners in the government of Prince Edward Island and numerous municipalities are working with Ulnaway to bring back the Mi'kmaq place names that are inherent to Abequet. It's so very good to see these Mi'kmaq place names in various places all over the island. They serve as a visual reminder to everyone of our shared history and the long-standing Mi'kmaq presence. It is an opportunity to showcase our beautiful descriptive language, Abequet's first language. All Aboriginal are encouraged to learn our first language, Mi'kmaq. We recognize that there is much more to be done, and our efforts to fully understand and recognize the Mi'kmaq reality will take many years to achieve. But it is starting, and we are moving forward together. I would like to acknowledge and thank Premier King for being a true need-up, a true friend to our people. His recognition of this day and commitment to establish a treaty education partnership between the provincial government and our rights organization, Ulnaway, is both a step forward and a sign of his strong leadership and his strong friendship. Thank you, Premier. Let us also remember that renewing our commitments means more than just addressing immediate needs. It means recognizing the inherent rights and responsibilities that come with our treaties. It means respecting the land, the waters, and the creatures that inhabit them. It means fostering a deep connection with our traditions and passing them down to future generations. Awareness of Mi'kmaq history and culture, as well as recognition of treaties, is central to reconciliation. We should remember that while these peace and friendship treaties were entered into by both parties, the Mi'kmaq were never conquered and we never surrendered or ceded our land. This is why the treaties were signed. Mi'kma'ki is still Mi'kmaq territory, and the peace and friendship treaties continue to serve as the foundation for the relationship of the Mi'kmaq and all citizens of the region, including all Aboriginal, all islanders. Treaty Day is a reminder that, as islanders, as treaty people, we are all part of a living tradition, and we have a responsibility to protect and preserve that tradition for all time. Let us work together to build a future where promises of our treaties are realized, where reconciliation is not just a word, but a living reality. Together, we can ensure that Treaty Day is not only a day of commemoration, but a day of hope, progress, and unity. I invite you all to take a step into this unity by joining us this afternoon for our inaugural Treaty Day Mawiomi at the East Link Center beginning at 12 p.m. It's a historic event. May the spirit of our ancestors guide us on this important journey together. Walalio, merci, thank you all.
Willalland, thank you for your words, Chief Bernard. And now I would like to invite Chief Junior Gould of Abogwit First Nation to speak on behalf of the Mi'kmaq. Chief Gould?
Quay, hello. Well said, Chief. I'd just like to reiterate everything she said. It was said well, and it was said with passion and from the heart as well. I think her and I both share this, that we feel what we're doing for our Mi'kmaq and our territory is for our people. And it's what makes it easy for us to do these things 2 days in a row and speak to the best of our ability. I'm pretty shy, so I'll only take a second to elaborate a little bit on how our people are. The last 2 days I've been honored to be here. The correlation between our people and where we are today was a prime example, Premier, of the plane flying overhead. Your job is to protect the commerce of PEI. That's your job through legislation, policy, and procedures. This structured building here is to protect your government to do what you were hired to do and what your job was to do. And peace and treaty friendship started a long time ago when the Mi'kmaq were here, and we had a duty and a due diligence as the way my father and grandfather had taught me to take care of your people as well. So when we met cross path back in the day, we fed you, we helped you clothe and shelter in this territory which we share, and we share it today. What we're asking in return is to be considered the same truth and reconciliation that peace and treaty friendships have brought forward over thousands of years. Give us the ability to be a productive part of this society. And you as the Premier, as the leader of the province of Prince Edward Island, have done that recently, and we appreciate that. And that's sincerely from both Chief Bernard and I. That's something we passionately feel about, that we believe in people, and we do. That's all we have. We represent our people. I know that my father, a residential school survivor of Shubenacadie Residential School in Nova Scotia, would be proud if he was here today. I'd have to fight with him to get off the microphone. Son, let me speak. But he would share his story of the traumas and the tribulations that he had endured and his stories that he heard from all of his peers. Most of them are gone and buried now, but their stories live in their children, myself, and then my grandchildren. In trying to think about what to say today, I saw my grandson in one of the posts where he was looking at a cross on my Facebook post. And this is the thing that unites us more than ever. My grandson was looking at the little cross with the little shoes on it and learning about the truth to residential schools, and his brow was down. And I share this on my post, and I wanted to share this today because it's part of treaty negotiations and negotiating in good faith. We have to understand each other before we can move forward in a good way. My grandson had his brow down, and he has the same concerns as your children. He has the same uncertainty. He has the same uneducated view of residential schools, what happened to his grandfather. He isn't aware of that. So as I teach him what had happened to my father and my grandfather over time, I measure that education with reassurance that it will not happen again. We have a good Premier that will not allow the history and the badness of the past come again. We have good Chiefs leadership, and we'll make sure our Mi'kmaq people are protected and not sheltered and put into a residential school. We will protect them. That is a solemn oath. We have good parents. We have a great mayor in the city of Charlottetown who will slow down and tell his constituents we have to listen as well. We can work together, and in truth and reconciliation, it's all encompassing, and it's all a part of all of us. So when we talk to our children and we educate them about what happened in the past, reassure them that they are safe in the future. And I think by having good leadership, we can move together productively, and I think you've shown that. And Chief Bernard and I are privy to all of the First Nations across Canada through the Assembly of First Nations as representative regional chiefs of Prince Edward Island. We know how important it is, Chief, to get along with your Premier, to get along with your province. And we appreciate that. And we understand the complexities of dealing with your own constituents. So we appreciate that too, Premier. And we like to take today and just thank you, and I'm honored. So part of that celebration, as Chief had spoke to, we'll have a Maui Omi. And this goes back millennial. This is how we are, and this is what we do. If you come out to my house, my non-Aboriginal wife, Ella Gu, will feed you because it's our tradition. It is our way. 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't matter. You are welcome in my house. You come to our house, our people will feed you. And we will send you on your way and wish you well. We'll probably complain later, but you won't hear it. That's our way. So we have a gathering on Maui Omi. We're going to ask you to come and join us. And it's today at 12 o'clock at where is it, Chief? East Link Center. We're going to invite you to join us. And one of the problems that we have is it's a ceremony that we involve you in and include you in. So we're going to show you today when we do an honor song. There was a time when we weren't allowed to do these songs. We had to pray and hide in the woods to do our sun dances. We had to have a sweat lodge hidden in the back. We had to hide from the church, the government, and from people who told us, I know better than you. Those days are behind us. So we're going to sing the honor song again today, and I will take the blame. But you can record it. You can take part in it, and because it's a shared culture that we have to preserve. I'm going to ask the Premier to join us at the drum. I'm also going to ask the Mayor of Charlottetown to join us at the drum, and we'd be honored to continue negotiations in good faith based on peace and treaty. Walalio.
Well, Alan Chief Gould, I would now like to invite Premier Dennis King to come forward and offer his remarks upon behalf of the province. Premier King.
Well, good morning. Bonjour, Quay. Chief Bernard, Chief Gould, Captain Jim, elders, my colleagues from the provincial legislature who I see here. I see mayors from a number of different communities across Prince Edward Island, which is really it's heartwarming to see that and to make the time today to come to the capital city for all of you. I really, really appreciate that, and I know our Mi'kmaq leadership does as well as to all of you who have made the time today to come out and recognize this important day, Treaty Day. As has been said, it's a day where we celebrate the ongoing relationship between the PEI Mi'kmaq with Islanders and our collective commitment to make a better Prince Edward Island for all of us. Today also marks the start of Mi'kmaq History Month, and as we gather today, it is important that we acknowledge the work that we have done together in the spirit of reconciliation, but also to take the words of both chiefs, the spirit of peace and friendship. Our government recently signed, as Chief Bernard referenced, a historic agreement with PEI First Nations for a housing project in Hillsborough Park, just in Charlottetown here. And that's important, as we talked about, for many, many reasons. But it also, to me, and I know our housing minister, Lance, is here, it also demonstrates to me and to us as government that the desire and the ability that our First Nations have to help us tackle some of the complex challenges that our society faces today, housing being just one of those. It's important that we can move forward with this agreement, and I'm really excited to see what this can bring us going forward. I'd like to say that the job of any government should be to be a good listener and to take good advice and to put into policy that good advice that will make for a better tomorrow for all of us. This is just one example of that, and I look forward to this continued partnership down the road because I think it serves all of us as Islanders well. Also the launching of the geographical naming program that we mentioned yesterday, that might seem insignificant to some, but there are still too many places on our map that derive their names from a racist and uninformed background that we need to make sure we have a policy in place that we can address this and to change it as quickly as possible. And that is also in the spirit of friendship and reconciliation, but it's also the right thing to do. It's too bad we're in 2023 and we have to continue to deal with that. But have that process in place is significant, even if many of us may not think so top of mind. I was also pleased to hear Chief Bernard so eloquently reference the treaty education MOU and its importance. This is something that we have been working on through Olnaway, who represent the First Nations at the table with government. And we're working with our professionals and our bureaucrats on both sides to implement a treaty education program that really, I think, will be something the rest of the country will want to follow and emulate. It also involves implementing programs and services in public education, the provincial public service, and the public at large as well. I think it's just the basic premise of this whole understanding is if we can understand better our past, it can give us a better chance to have a better future. And I think that is significant. It's taken more time probably than we all would have liked, but I think our focus here is not so much speed, but to make sure it's done right and done well. And I look forward to the days ahead when we can share more of that with all Islanders. And furthermore, starting this month, we're pleased to offer public service employees the opportunity to participate in additional online training entitled Indigenous Awareness and Moving Towards Reconciliation. I think this is another important step forward to building an inclusive and engaged and informed public service whose job is to serve all Prince Edward Islanders and deliver programs and services for all Prince Edward Islanders. You know, it's always a little bit intimidating to stand up here and to speak after Chief Bernard. And in a past life, I wrote speeches for her, and I always thought my words were so great, but then I thought it wasn't so much the hymn book, it was the person singing the hymns, and she is really, she's such an eloquent speaker, and Chief Gould as well. They speak from the heart, they speak passionately. And I was thinking about that on the way in today, and it wasn't lost on me that a story that Chief Gould shared yesterday about his dad talking about the eagles above, and you know, I was thinking in the same tone that, you know, driving in this morning with the fog, it was somewhat symbolic of us being here today, that for far too long when it comes to our Indigenous communities, there was a fog that prevented us from seeing the realities and the possibilities that were right in front of us. So as the fog is lifting here today, I hope it's more symbolic that the fog is lifting on all of Prince Edward Island. We see the opportunities that are there. We see the drive and desire that our First Nations leadership and the people they serve have to be part of the solutions that Prince Edward Island needs to be productive in the days ahead. So that touched me yesterday, Chief Gould, and I really appreciated that story. You know, it's also, the last couple of days have been somber, but there's been a celebratory component to it as well. And you know, both chiefs have said so many nice things about me. And while that is, you know, something that I'll appreciate much more when I'm done with this job, I'm sure. But I really hope that what we're trying to do is build upon the strengths and the friendships that we have. But I think we're also building an agreed upon set of principles that we can all work toward going forward. So long after I'm gone, whoever comes in the job after me and whoever comes in the job after that person, I hope there's an agreed upon set of principles and focus that we can work forward on. It is amazing that I have a great personal and working relationship with both chiefs, but there will be times in the future when that won't be the case. And that's why it's important that we have events like this, that we have an agreed upon set of principles that we can focus on. And because sometimes, as we all know, the personality and the personal connections won't be enough. There's going to be a time when we're going to have to, there's going to be disagreement. But if we continue to do events like this, if we continue to do treaty education MOUs, and we continue to have partnerships on housing and so many other things, we build the wealth within our First Nations, and we share the wealth of Prince Edward Island with the people of Abbotsford. I really do think that that will be the signature moment of all of this. And while it's very nice that you speak glowingly of me and I speak glowingly of you, and it's genuine and it's true, but I think behind the scenes, our staffs, our collective bureaucracies, all of the people who are working on this, we're working on something so much bigger than just developing friends. We're building something really, really special here. So I look forward to continuing that work in the days ahead, in the months ahead, and the years ahead. I think there's so much potential for us on Prince Edward Island, and a big, big part of capturing that potential is working with our First Nations, allowing them to be the leaders that they have been for time immemorial, to do the right thing, to make this the best place to live, work, and raise a family. So thank you very much. Walalio.
Walalan, thank you for your remarks, Premier King. You are a true ally to the Mi'kmaq. And now the chiefs and premier will exchange gifts as our ancestors would have done centuries ago. I would like to invite the premier and the two chiefs to come forward to exchange gifts. And now I would like to call both chiefs and the premier to come forward to raise the Mi'kmaq flag together. Now feel free to take photographs. The Redstone drummers will honor us with the song while the flag is being raised.
Mayor, want to join the drum, Mayor? Here you go, the crown. This is your territory. This is your.
This is our territory.
This is your.
How do I do this, guys? Just stretch it out. Just follow us. Perfect. Okay. And right here, and here away.
We're all from different groups, so we're all leaders. This guy's from Jugnemine, right? Yeah. You said you were the best teacher. Yeah?
Well, he was a good student. I know.
Chief?
Mess it up.
Me
Glariag, thank you all for joining and participating in our Treaty Day event today. The official parties will now be available for the media. This brings our commemoration to a close. Once again, I am honored and humbled to have been a part of this important day. Unset Nogama, all my relations. Wilalin, thank you.